I have the door flipped over so you can see the outside of the door skin, and if you put it in the sunlight like this and let it pick up the glare, you can see those little puckers that run along the bottom edge. Don't be discouraged by that. We're not finished. We still have more hammering to do, and the more you hammer on these things, on the flange, the smaller they will get, and they will disappear, for the most part. You're not going to get it 100% perfect, but they will get a lot smaller as you work on it. So I just wanted to show you this is sort of an in-between step, and then when we get to the end, you'll be able to sort of compare how smaller they are compared to when you look at it right now. Alright, I'm nearing the end of hammering on this bottom flange, and so I just wanted to show you a little technique that I'm using. I got my sawhorses set up here with a piece of plywood on top, and what I've done is I've taken this slightly curved dolly and I put it on top of the sawhorse like this. Then what I do is I can bring the door skin and the flange down here, put it right on top of that thing, and then tap it a couple of times with the hammer. This doesn't go anywhere. When I hold it in my hand and hit it, it kind of moves a little bit. So this is a really solid, stable platform for it. And that lets me get a really nice, tight, crisp corner on that thing when I'm hammering it over. Alright, I have the door flipped over and I'm trying to catch the glare from the sun along the edge so you can get the contrast and see the bottom seam. Now those little dimples are still there, but they're a lot smaller, and it's almost at the point now where I could just hit it with a little bit of body filler and sand it down and make all of those go away. I might try and hammer on it a little bit one more time, maybe from the top this time where I can see them. I don't want to hit too hard on the top because I'm afraid that I might put some flat spots on the door skin. But I figure having the dolly on the face of the door skin is probably no different than hammering on it. But I would certainly use the flat hammer, not the door skin hammer. Just the regular, this guy here with this round flat face. I might try and just gently tap on it a few times, maybe with the dolly on the back and without the dolly. I'm no expert. This is only the second door skin I've ever put on. So, try a couple of things and see what happens. But you can see those puckers or those dimples, whatever you want to call them, they get a lot smaller the more you hammer on it. So I'm tending to think that the key is to just get that crease as flat and as sharp as you can get it, and that minimizes the depths of those little dimples along the bottom edge. Now I'm going to start on the back end of the door. I always wear my ear protection. It's really loud when you're doing this. So here we go. I'm going to switch hammers now and go back to this door skin hammer. That flat body hammer is not letting me get in deep now where I need to get in. I have a hockey puck here that I'm going to put on the skin side, the face of the door, just to have something to hit against that's not my hand. And it's pretty hard, but it is not as hard as a steel dolly, so it won't scratch up the front face of the door skin. This is a much heavier hammer too, so it does a lot better job of folding the skin over with the same amount of force. It actually makes it feel like you're not working as hard. It folds over a lot easier when you use this hammer because it's a lot heavier. I'm actually going to put this under the door. I got to be careful here because I can mess up the face of the door if I lean too much on this hockey puck. Alright, so now before I really start hammering on this again, I'm going to flip it over and take a look at the front and make sure I'm not messing up the front of the door. Okay, here it is on the front, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. There are no little dents, no low spots, no high spots, no creases. If only the bottom went on as easily as the sides, then you'd have a really nice job. But, that's how it is. So a few more taps with the hammer on this end, and this one will be finished. I just need to now just crease that thing over and put it all the way in contact with the flange on the door shell so that we can come back later and weld it. But I'm pretty happy with how this is going. If I try and come over here and spin this thing around and get an angle into the sun, a lot of glare, but there are no ripples or waves in this thing. It's curved where it's supposed to be curved, and it's flat right here in the middle the way it's supposed to be. I don't feel any little ripples. So this is really coming out nice. Alright, let's finish it up. Alright, I'll try and give you a different angle this time. So I'm just going to put this hockey puck under here so that I have something firm to push against the door shell when I'm hammering on it. Now let's flip it over again and see what it looks like. I got to work these creases a little bit right there. You can see that this edge needs to get folded under. So I'll work on that for a minute and we'll come back and see how it turns out. Alright, it's been a couple of minutes. I did a little bit more folding over on that seam on the back edge of the door. So here it is from the skin side, the face side of the door. Looks nice and smooth. I'm happy with how it came out. See, in the glare, there's really not anything rolling with it. It's a lot easier to do these sides than the bottom, like I said before. So now I'll flip it over and give you a look at the underside of the seam. And here it is, the seam side of the door on the back end that we just folded over. It's a little hard to get into these corners right here. I use the pick end on the regular body hammer like this to get into these tight little corners. And I'll show you one little trick. Up here on the top of the door, it's got a like a curved detail that runs along the top edge. You get it? So I just took a round piece of wood and put that in that curved groove, and then used that as a backer when I was hammering along this edge of the seam to give it the full support and maintain the shape that I needed. And that seemed to work pretty good. So now all that I have left to do is the front end of the door, and I'll be done. Alright, so I got the front edge done mainly. Pretty happy with how it came out as well. There aren't any ripples or dimples or dents or anything like that on the front side. The only thing that I really need to deal with is this bottom corner. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some extra material on this bottom edge that is causing me a little bit of a problem, and I didn't want to cut it off yet until I finished folding the whole thing over, because sometimes things shift around and move on you, and if you cut it too early and then you come back, you wish you hadn't. So I've decided to leave it, and I'm kind of tired now. I've been working on this. It's about 6:15 and we started, I don't know, around 2 o'clock maybe. It's about 4 hours. So I decided I'm just going to put it away now. I'll come back another day when I've had a chance to rest, look at it with a set of fresh eyes, and decide what to do on this little corner. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Like I said, the bottom edge is the most challenging one, and I think I got that pretty good. I'll put a little filler on there and sand it down, and it'll be pretty, it'll be done.